Check, 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 check.
Yeah, buddy.
Echo. Echoey, echoey. Yo, yo, yo. Five stocks. Five stocks, some of which I didn't already tell you, would be, let me ask you this. Would this be along the lines of putting these in a portfolio and holding them forever, or long enough where you don't have to check it, or short term? Like what time frame? Long term or short term? And I'm going to try something. .5 years. So there's like so many stocks that right now are in favor from a growth perspective, which you would call compounders, which are things that you're familiar with that you know are not going anywhere. That would be your stocks like Google and Amazon, Facebook. And I think the one that has the least threat of all of those big companies that will continue to go up. In fact, it's one of the top performing stocks that most people don't think about. That would be Microsoft. You definitely want to own Microsoft in a portfolio over 5 years. Like you could own Microsoft for the rest of your life. Definitely needs it to be in a portfolio. And then secondly, something that has a dividend. Like right now, Altria would be a value stock that has a strong dividend. I would put something with a dividend and reinvest the dividend. But that could be a whole bunch of other stocks. And if you do a Google search, you can look up the dividend aristocrats. Aristocrat stocks are the ones that pay high dividends. And you have to choose, depending on what broker that you use, you have to decide and elect to reinvest dividends so that you don't pay taxes on it, which is really, really beneficial. So in other words, for over 5-10 years, the dividend will reinvest into stock and you'll never have taxable income on that account until you sell. So Microsoft, as well as a dividend stock. And then I would definitely add some exciting names like Palantir and Snowflake are two companies that are going to be benefiting from other organizations that pay an extraordinary amount of money for their services. And what they do is they pool a bunch of data and then interpret that data for companies to maximize their income. So a company like Palantir will work with a airline to help to basically streamline their repair, their passenger flow, everything that an airline would want to do to maximize their performance. That's what Palantir does. They also do some things. Some people are crediting Palantir with revealing and recapturing the Bitcoin that was used from the pipeline hack. So Palantir isn't going anywhere. They're going to be one of the best data mining companies out there, and they do not market. That's why you really never hear about them. In fact, they're terrible at marketing. So that's kind of an interesting thing because they shouldn't have to market, and eventually they won't. The companies that they have that work with them currently are repeat customers, a lot of which is the military, and they're definitely not going anywhere anytime soon. So they're not a company that's going to advertise well. Even their YouTube and other presentations that they do to try to upsell their stock are just horrible, way too technical. People don't understand them at all. And then a stock that I like, which is kind of hot right now, is we know how microchips are basically in short supply. I like NVIDIA. NVIDIA has everything to do with three-dimensional and artificial intelligence, as well as it's basically in any gaming computer that there is. As NVIDIA goes our technology when it's visual, having to do with computers. So I like NVIDIA, especially right now, because it's, I would say, relatively cheap, because it's only going to get stronger as the raw materials to make chips and the chip shortages and supply issues are fixed globally. And then you already know one of my favorites is Peloton, because Peloton is a software company and people don't realize it. It's a software as a service company, meaning once you buy the Trojan horse, which is the bike or treadmill or any of the other devices that they have yet to employ. Once you have a device, you have to purchase music applications and other applications that you will use. Like, what if there was something that you could use to streamline your workflow while you're walking on your treadmill? That would be something that you would pay for through Peloton. And once subscribers subscribe to the Peloton service, they stay. We call that sticky. And the other thing is moat. Whenever you think about a stock and how unique it is in the unique clientele that they have, it's referred to as a moat, like the castle moat. It's something that separates them from other companies. And Peloton really has an opportunity to they've already established a moat. They've already got a name brand. Everybody knows what Peloton is, and it's really a remarkable strategy to continue to go app-based. That would be like a giant treadmill being a giant iPhone, and every app that's purchased through Apple to go onto an iPhone, that'd basically be what Peloton would be doing. So it would be continuous streams of revenue in perpetuity. And then I'm trying to think of a tech stock, like a really good long-term tech stock. I'll have to get back to you on that one. One that I haven't mentioned. Yeah, I have to think about that. So I was trying to figure out a way to play non-copyright or copyright royalty-free music here for a second, so bear with me. Yeah, I'm not good at getting sound going on the soundboard, though. I fixed it. Now, if I get banned for playing this, then oh well. So we're watching Clover, right? So what everybody's predicting is this short squeeze, and the screen to the right is Clover here live trading, and the orange line is actually where it's trading pre-market. So it's up pretty good, $27 roughly, which is pretty remarkable. So short squeeze, when people talk about that on the news and on social media, a short squeeze basically is an irrational. I don't need music. Just put it on, try it. But the short squeeze that they're predicting that could happen is basically, without getting into the complexities, there are a lot of people, 42%, I believe, going into this morning, 42% of the stock held is short, which means that they're betting on the stock Clover to go down prior to all of this interest. Well, Wall Street Bets got a hold of this information that the stock was heavily shorted. And one of the things that they do is they will unify, coordinate their buying activity. And when they start buying a stock, like you first heard about it with GameStop and most recently AMC, when they do it, and they're doing now with Clover, the massive amount of buying momentum that takes place causes the shorts to have to cover their positions so that they don't lose money. So in other words, the shorts are betting that the stock goes down. So when the stock goes up, they're actually losing money. And in order to get out of the position, again, without getting into the complexities, they actually have to buy the shares, and it causes the stock to irrationally go upwards. And there's going to be major investment firms and brokerage firms that will go out of business as a result of this Clover fiasco. In my opinion, I think there's going to be a lot of issues going forward if this coordinated purchasing continues on Clover. I mean, you can see this. The stock was up 100% yesterday, and closed up 82%, which is totally irrational. And it has nothing to do with Clover. It has nothing to do with the fundamentals or the value of Clover as a company. It has nothing to do with that whatsoever. It's just basically what they call a short squeeze. It's getting all those people that have bet this stock to go the wrong way to get screwed. The only way that they can get out is by purchasing shares, and it causes the stock to go parabolic. You know, it would be a good short-term trade right now. A lot of people are getting on this this Tesla kick, because they think that it's going to resume back to its regular prominence. So I think short-term, it's funny, there's the people that do technical analysis on Tesla stock say that the devil's number 666 is the number that they're trying to close above. So if you see Tesla above 666, that means that Tesla could resume 800 back up to 1,000, maybe. So in the short term, there's going to be a lot of interest. I think a lot of people, a lot of eyes paying attention to Tesla. And one of the things that's really cool, like going back to your question, a stock that maybe is worth holding for 5 years. In fact, this is one I would definitely say, because in the midterm or short term, this stock has kind of had some trouble, although it is up quite a bit. It's not a rip-roaring company share price-wise, but CrowdStrike would be a no-brainer, because we have all this cybersecurity issues going on. So CrowdStrike is going to be a company's first line of defense against cyber criminals hacking and doing blackmail for Bitcoin and stuff like that. So actually, yeah, you got to have CrowdStrike. Definitely got to have CrowdStrike. So that's like a 5-year, 1-year chart of CrowdStrike. You see it's gone sideways basically all of this year. Yeah, you got to add that one. And there's other ones. There's other ones in that space too, which they don't come to me off the top of my head. Zscaler, I believe, is another one. Let me look that up. Yeah, Zscaler is cloud. Symbol ZS. Let's take a look at that chart. So it kind of had a little bit of a pop in the 1 year time frame, but it's kind of come back to earth. CrowdStrike is the one that gained popularity with the Hillary Clinton thing. But I think either one would do. And I'll give you another one. Cloudflare. This is just a stock that everybody loves. I don't even know what they do. I'll look it up. But this ticker symbol's NET. These are some of those technology companies that you'd want to have for 5 years. Just set it and forget it. Never look at it. So they're web infrastructure and security. So they're another one. So there you go. There's three of them. You got Zscaler, Cloudflare, which is ticker NET, and so Zscaler, ZS, NET, NET is Cloudflare, and CrowdStrike is CRWD. Clover trading at 26.58. $8.23, just over an hour before opening bell. Stock's up. Clover is up 20%. Yep.
Okay, fair enough. Tom, you stop talking sense right now, says Johnny. We'll keep talking as much as we can. As much as we can. Ride going belly up, GM retooling. I'm not sure what that's about, but all right, cool, man. Is RKT the next CLOV, says Rowdy? Well, I guess you want to look at the current talk, the current chit-chat. So if somebody...
Yeah, there may or may not be people coming in. The interesting thing about YouTube and streaming is if your channel's new, like they won't even, this would never pop up on any analytics. But I just figured typically my morning looks exactly like this. Like I don't need to see somebody else talking about the stock market right now. I basically just get ready to watch. I usually do all my research on the weekends, and I know what I want to get into, and I have all of the people that invest with me or use my ideas have kind of already been put into positions in stocks that fit their investment risk profile. And I mean, I can tell you I'm trying to, well, Thursday's the big news, right? So Thursday's CPI data, which is going to show inflation. So in general, this would be of interest to you and anybody else, basically any consumer. The consumer price index comes out Thursday, and that is basically going to reveal whether or not we are going to remain bullish on the stock market or whether we're going to go bearish for the next quarter, next 3 months. A lot of people are saying that inflation is built in, and if you're a news watcher to some degree, like I am on a macro scale, there was a time when inflation was one of the biggest fears in the world, but we've kind of gone past that now to where it's not really a concern. People think that no matter what the CPI number is, that it's basically everybody believes that inflation will be transient and that it's caused by supply issues. And we see that with auto manufacturers, the chip manufacturers. Chipotle, I know today, is raising prices, I believe, and once they raise prices, it'll never go down. So some are saying that that's an indication of longer term inflation. But after Thursday, it's basically going to open up the floodgates. If we get a lukewarm CPI number, that means that the Fed will still be accommodating with their monetary policy and stocks will be free to go. And the stock market just wants to have as little uncertainty as possible. So once we get that number, it will still remain in doubt whether or not we have long-term inflation or short-term inflation. But for the time being, it will be really bullish, I think, for technology stocks, small, mid-cap stocks. It's been my thesis since the November, December timeframe of 2020 that this year, the mega cap companies, the FANG companies, Facebook, Apple, Google, Netflix, formerly Netflix, NVIDIA, companies like that would actually become and behave like value stocks. And once you have those value stocks basically performing, or those mega cap growth companies forming a safe haven for money, that they might actually appeal to the value crowd. So you have people that are moving money into value dividend stocks like Altria Group and other things that people can reinvest those dividends. And that opposite of that is people that are going into the hyper growth companies, whereby, again, when low inflation is persistent, then we have more investment, more freedom to invest in the longer term future earning hyper growth stocks, which is happening like right now. Like this is the beginning of, it's probably the second inning of people investing in those type of companies. What's up, Joey? Just like old times, buddy. Get 5 people to come in here this morning. I just decided to throw a camera on because I'm going to be staring at Clover all day. So why not?
Tom does not like anything that flies or grows. I like agricultural stocks. But yeah, you're probably right. If something, yeah, that's true actually. I never thought about that.
Joey, what are you thinking about Plug Power? Plug Power ready to, like I wouldn't buy Plug Power because, I wouldn't even buy Plug Power because of hydrogen anymore. I don't think it's really that. I don't think that's what's going on there. I think that it is a technical turnaround. You know, from a TA standpoint, we're talking about it on one of the YouTube channels I watch. From a technical standpoint, I think that people are gonna probably load up. And then the other one that's been getting a lot of attention lately is the LiDAR company. I forget the name or the ticker. It's not the laser one. But for whatever reason, it's about $12 stock. Cannot think of the name of it. Yeah, is it Luminar? What's the ticker? L. No, it's not. It's not Luminar. I owned Luminar for about a day once. The Velodyne one. VLDR. Yeah, it's kind of looks good from a TA standpoint as far as if you want to try to pick that bottom. Had a nice move yesterday. I mean, once hell, it's got clear sailing up to 16. A little work to get there. Yeah, there's a lot of gaps in there. That needs to close. That needs to close close above 13, man. That's like right now is probably the time of entry. That's probably why people are getting in there. Well, here's a lesson on technical analysis, right? So let's look at we'll look at this one. So this is Velodyne LiDAR, which is devices that I don't know if I'm using it correctly, but would be like a radar device basically that is used on electric vehicles. If you were to look at this chart, you would see just allowing yourself the confidence to know that if you were taking an exam and you were a kindergartner, you would know that there's a trend here. And if I just drew any random line, you would see that trend is pretty obvious. And technical analysis can be like really simple. And people that are really good at it are actually looking at a chart, but they actually know a lot of the fundamentals behind a company too. Like I can't look at this chart in the abstract and tell you anything more than what the chart tells me. And it tells me that this is in a state of decline from a broad perspective. If you look at the 30,000 foot view, it to anybody, they would see that it's a declining picture. But then if you drill down to the part right here, you can see that there is a reversal. So I could draw a reversal kind of like this. Someone would say that where'd my brush tool go now? The reversal here. And if you trust that that's a reversal, then you got to dig down and look even more. Like you could drill down and look in detail and determine levels here as to why this turnaround would have occurred, right? So if you just look at this chart, you would have no idea why all of a sudden this stock turns green. Well, it's going to be emotion of people that are investing. People that are starting to pay attention to the sector rotation, whereby money is going from some small mid-cap value stocks into small-cap growth. These are the stocks that have been beat down. If you know the name Kathy Wood. She's kind of the poster child for the hyper growth stocks and tech stocks that have been out of favor due to the risks of inflation. But now that you see inflation sort of subsiding and the media hype surrounding it, scam, a lot of people are paying more attention to these tech stocks again. So, and yeah, Joe, if you're talking about this particular chart, it could be a short squeeze that would cause, like, basically people, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but without getting too technical about it, there's people that are betting on the stock to go down, and once they see the reversal take place and the buyers come in, they may have to exit their positions, and by doing so, it causes the stock to irrationally go up quickly. So one could say that that is a good indicator that as the short sellers are exiting the stock, that it's a good time for that transition to move to the upside. Was Kathy Wood still in, like, when was she in the Lordstown? Was it very recently? Or did she get out? Clover, let's see. Pre-market trading at 27, up 22% with about 50 minutes to go until the opening bell. So, Joe, I was thinking about this the other day. Do you think that there really is a coordinated effort, or there was a coordinated effort against Kathy Wood, like all of these old school curmudgeonly investors that basically are envious of her recent fame over the last year? Like, their resentment has just caused them to at least contribute to the idea that that was not the right place to be at that time, and that there was, I guess my question is, was there more to the story than just outflows? Because it didn't, I think it's been revealed now that there isn't outflows to ARK Invest. And it was just that the companies that ARK owned were just getting slaughtered. Yeah, I think there's a smear campaign against her, but her returns thus far have been trash. Yeah, and I think there's probably a great deal of retail investors that were trying to mimic. Like, I think that's actually a pretty good point that I've thought of, but I didn't know how to articulate it. I found myself trying to buy a stock or two, and you and I were talking about CRISPR at one time, and I was also in Invitae, as a means to avoid ARKG and just sort of participate on my own. And that could have accounted for, say, 20%. If there were people just like me that were trying to, shadow trade, that would actually just solve the entire puzzle. Like, that would be precisely why there was a built-in net negative effect from people that were just blasted out of those companies. I mean, I held Invitae down like 10, 15%. I learned a lot from this inflation scare. I had a position in Tiger in, I think, March. And if I look back, I actually inadvertently timed the entire breakdown of the hyper growth stocks because I was in Tiger at that time and I was just watching Tiger. And I'm thinking, all right, I'm not going to get rid of this. I'm going to hold it until it's, in the dirt. And then once it got towards the dirt, I'm like, you know what? I don't need to be a hero here. I'm just going to get the hell out. I'll buy it later. But that was the beginning of the end. Like that was the beginning of the big drop off where you saw ARK get crushed. And companies like Tiger just got slammed. I remember Tiger in the teens, low teens, and making a nice climb up, and then all of a sudden just got destroyed. I'm going to get some water. I'll be right back. Yeah, I would be selling that shit. Black market. Uh-oh.
In Las Vegas Sands, Macau, wouldn't that be just as a better place?
I agree with you, but okay, now let's say you're Gary Gensler, and you're thinking about this,
Yeah.
because this is happening in real time in front of you.
Right.
What should you
Well,
do?
I think Gary ought to have a series of town meetings explaining how stocks work. I know that Melissa mentioned the term naked shorting the other day, and people went nuts on that. I talked about how Wendy's moved. I think he ought to do what Arthur Levitt did. Town meetings explaining to people how if you do something like this, you have to recognize it can end badly, it can end well. We got the GameStop meeting today. But you know what? We ought to have education coming out of the SEC. Go back to the old days. Instead of the SEC just being quiet and being somewhat laissez-faire.
Yeah, dude.
Let's get back in. We got young people.
I'm over CNBC big time. I haven't watched CNBC. I mean, I'll turn it on. What else is there to have on? But I just feel more educated by not watching. Like I don't have Bloomberg Terminal, right? But I got this little secret squirrel live news feed. Let's take a look at the news. Victory Capital announces plans to enter cryptocurrency market. Biden will make clear to Putin and China that US and Europe are united. China's economic officials put brakes on efforts to reduce carbon emissions, sources say. Global airline alliances call for universal travel standards. CME Group to launch micro treasury yield futures. Etsy announces pricing of 1 billion convertible senior notes. Wendy's announces refinancing transaction. U.S. 10-year falls below 1.5. All right, here's a question. Is the 10-year disconnected now as any indicator of, like, this is where CNBC really lost me, is this whole hype and scam about the acceleration of the 10-year, because everybody knew, who was anybody, that the 10-year rate wasn't any threat, but yet the acceleration is like they made that out of thin air. No, see, like, so you're asking a 10-year at 1.5 means tech goes up. No, I think there's a disconnect now, and like CNBC won't even mention it. There's no correlation. They changed it to the acceleration of the 10-year. That was the concern. Campbell's Soup shares down 7%. That's crazy for Campbell's Soup. So Campbell's Soup, lower profit. First Solar to build new solar panel factory. Ohio, 2023. Hello. First Solar. Yeah, it looks like it's rolling over a little bit, but that news could give that a boost it needs to get back on track. Yeah, probably. You know what, Kami? That's actually, it's pretty intuitive. If those soup sales are down, you're right. You're actually spot on. All right, let's get to our price target updates. Here we got Cowen raises a target price of, I don't even know what this is, APA. Cowen raises target price from 16 to 25 on APA. All right, so Biogen gets a price target raise from 325 to 455. Etsy gets a haircut. Price target down to 245 from 260. Ford gets a Citigroup target increase from 13 to 17. Now what's Ford at 15 now? I want to short Ford. I'd short that bitch. What do you think, Joey? You getting the puts on Ford? They got bad news with Taiwan Semi. At least I think they're. I never know what chip companies provide what companies. But if Ford is affected by Taiwan Semi, anyone who's affected by Taiwan Semi, they have a coronavirus outbreak in the plant. GM, Citigroup raises price target to 90 from 85. Hey, there you go. My price target, 85, GM, still stands. Been that way for over 12 months. Actually, it was 65, and then I went up to 85. GM's going to maybe break over 65 this week, actually. mRNA, Brookline Capital Markets raises target price to 224 from 205. Nothing else of note in price targets. Coverage initiated, Goldman Sachs. Jefferies initiates a buy, price target 450. Here we go. There's some action on Ride, coverage initiated. RBC Capital initiates at underperform, price target 5. You think? Coinbase, Raymond James initiates at underperform. Oof. Downgrades. Dish Network. Nothing else of importance. Well, Ford, Citigroup raises price target 17 from 13. GM, Citigroup raises price target to 90 from 85. GE calls? No. I got GM calls. 65 September. Yeah, Ford. How about Ford in the sub 20,000 hybrid vehicle? Like, that's brilliant. You can get into a pickup truck for 20,000, 40 mpg. Clover up 25% with about 37 minutes to the opening bell. Yeah, it's true. Hey, so I was thinking if Ford is having trouble with production due to their chips and GM does not have said problem, then what if GM capitalizes on some of the truck business? Because there's people that are in such desperate need of new vehicles. It would be certainly well within the realm of possibility that people would move into a Silverado that normally don't have that much allegiance to Ford. Like, for sure. Joey, buy me a soundboard.
Does Starbucks have coffee that tastes like a cow's mouth? Yes. Is it good? No. Is it everywhere? Yes. Will I drink it? Yes. Why? Why will I drink coffee from Starbucks when it tastes like the back part of a cow's mouth? Why will I drink it? The answer is because I'm already in one. I'm already in Starbucks. That's why. Because you can walk out of a Starbucks and literally be in the Starbucks surrounding that Starbucks. There's
Yeah, buddy. All right, Joey. Can Clover get to $40? Can Clover get to $40? Time to adjust the chart. My goodness. $27.69, $27.76, up 25%. Did I hear correctly that Chamath invested in Clover for like $14,000? What does it even mean to SPAC? Right. So, I mean, I get what a SPAC is, right? So, and by the way, you think that the SPAC revolution is not ready to rip again?
And my fucking dog has got AIDS all over his face. Fuck yeah, dude. Butters is probably gonna die. Dude, Butters looks like the guy from the Goonies with the bent ear. He just looks like he's a breath away from being like, hey, you guys. Dude, he had a fucking eye problem, so I took him to the vet. And when you go to the vet, you got to wait in the car, and then the nurse comes out, and then you hand the fucking dog over to the vet, and then the vet walks it in. And then you wait in the car like a big, dumb fucking idiot. And I'm in the car for fucking 1 hour, and then they come back and they're like, yeah, so he's got an eye infection, and I'm like, oh, really?
How old's your dog now? 15? 16? That fucking dog.
And so they were like, just put these drops in it every 3 hours, and so I did, and it moved to his other eye. Yes, now it's in both eyes. Yes, down. Oh, dude, and that wasn't it. So we started putting the drips in the second eye, and then guess what, dude? Oh, fuck yeah, dude.
It's all over. Zoom launches Zoom phone appliances, empowering the hybrid workforce. Breaking.
Dude, his nose looks like a fucking barnacle. So that's bad. So his nose looks like some barnacles, and his eyes look like they're fucking caked up. Caked up eyes and fucking nose barnacle. And so it looks really bad. So anyway, taking him into the vet tomorrow, and who knows if it's his last day or not. In the meantime, Trash Dog Chens, I talk about him. I still called him Trash Dog on the Rogan podcast. He's always going to a fucking superstar. Hey, could you be more distracting down there? I mean, Jesus Christ. I took Trash Dog to the fucking to the vet because why? Well, I don't know. We found this dog, I told you, near Target, like it was shopping for some fucking placemats or some shit. And went to and so I don't know. All of a sudden, he started wincing and shit. I think he was probably abused But I'm a fucking savior, so I keep him and I keep him nice, and I don't fucking, I keep him real nice. And as frustrating as he is, because he shits everywhere and fucking vomits everywhere, I still hold my cool, and I'm like, it's okay, it's okay. And he barks and fucking wakes the baby up and just everything, dude. And I just go, okay, all right, Jens. It's not even his name. I made up a name for him. Trash dog, Scraps, fucking rat fuck. Anyway, run away, dude. So one day he's fucking, a dog's in trouble when they're just like this. What? When they look like a fucking a private, when they look like Donnie Brasco, the fucking Johnny Depp at the end of the movie, where he's like, no, I'm a mafia guy, and they're like, what the fuck, you wearing a wire? What? Sorry, no, I'm a dog. It's all good. Arf, rough. Oh, a bone. And guys in the van, just hearing arf, quieter, arf, arf. And so, man, imagine being one of those guys in the van. How important you feel and how fucking dumb you look too, because you're just so cooped up, and you're listening to the guy who's wearing a wire, and you're in a fucking flower van. And so he was just chilling, not moving. And my girl's like, something is weird. And I'm just like, oh, for fuck's sake, now you think something's wrong again, I don't know. And I'm like, no, it's fine, he's just a dog, it'll be fine. He's just being really weird. And I'm like, what do you mean? And she's just like, I don't know, he's just like really like cautious. I'm like, all right. She's like, yeah, I think it's like, for no reason, I think it's like neurological. Oh, all right. Because you're a fucking vet, dude? Chicks will just fucking make shit up, man. I think it's a neurological thing. Why? So I'm like, all right. So take him to the fucking vet. And the vet's like, he pulled his back. Oh, really? That's so fucking neurological? So he pulled his fucking back. So the vet gave him pills. Now I got to give him pills every fucking however many hours. And he's got like 3 pills, like he's fucking some 80-year-old uncle. And they're in these blue bottles.
Sounds like Joey's dog. What's up, Sap? Uh-oh. We missed Clover Hill.
Hindenburg did this idea. That had been a failed deal.
That one, which context logic is heavily short at 50%. I mean, there is some method to the madness, Jim, in terms of targeting.
Well, Hindenburg did a very.
Of course it's annoying. It's 16.
On Clover.
Is your dog still spry at 16? I have to get blacked out drunk in order to sleep, or I can't move for an hour. Can't get more than an hour of sleep.
It's small lot trading that declines prior to the share price peak, and that, in their view, implies that it's larger traders who are driving us to the peak and then again after the peak.
Wow. Well, I was hoping he'd talk about the out-of-the-money call problem, where people buy out-of-money calls. It's very hard to hit. If you're a market maker, it's very hard to lie.
I should pipe this in. Let's pipe this in so it sounds better.
Well, you have to cover. If you're a market maker, you have to buy because it's very hard to.
But it's, I mean, people are also selling those calls. That's one way that you're not.
To get blown away. I'm kind of a dividend on GameStop. Now, these people, by the way, have total contempt, in particular for me. And I think that's because I'm actually trying to figure them out. And like Wendy's. Why did I call Nelson Peltz? Because I happen to like Wendy's. I thought that the stock should go higher. I was not focused on the garden salad. I was focused on the same-store sales.
Right.
Now, see that little comment I just made?
Yeah.
They hate that.
I know.
They just hate that.
Geo?
You know what I say?
Just keep it coming.
I say,
Just
bring it on.
no broken beer bottle in the back.
My father was hit by a beer bottle at a Washington team Eagles game. It was actually a playoff game with Buddy Ryan. We did not go for 5 years. He was hit square in the head with a beer bottle. But these people must love that. My father passed away. They must love that even more.
The fuck?
835-918. That's my mother's phone number. She died in 1985. What did you give her? She was 76. That's Adam's ring, if you want to know. We used to use that like very good.
Yeah.
So now they've got everything.
They got it all.
They can go after my mother.
I think you're going to be okay. I think you got to keep doing what you're doing and don't let
Garbage.
Don't let them get in your head.
No, I'm not. I'm convinced that if you explain to people that what's moved this in part is because people are saying that Wendy's, Tendies, and of course Wendy's has a great social media site, and sometimes they and GameStop.
Yes.
Listen to me. This is for real.
I'm listening to you. The only other question I have is who was behind all the trading? Is there something we don't fully know?
Chillins.
You know, is it not just here in this country? Is it a global phenomenon? Are there traders in other countries?
Is it the Colonial Pipeline fee? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Can you tell me how I earn 8% interest on the money I have in the cash account?
Talk amongst yourselves.
Yes, I don't understand that. You keep saying about how you get it on your hold.
I got 8.6% on my cash last night. Now, you think they're taking some risk? Are they lending out?
Who has it? Bitcoin or Ethereum?
No, that's it. The out that I had with my cash position are getting 8.6%. Now, that's not possible
No.
without taking on a level of risk.
Yes.
But people want to
Yeah,
donate.
if I were you.
I actually didn't try to transfer right now.
Okay.
But we also have this new thing, Carl. We have like things like this Ashford hospitality, where because the stock goes higher because of meetings, you then get preferreds that it can convert, and it's what I call virtuous circle up. We should be following these things because people look at AHT under us and say, how did that go up from 3 to 7? Well, the answer is virtuous.
Yeah.
Ashford hospitality, AHT was.
Yeah, even Wendy's announcing a refi operation today. Not that it's related, but it certainly provides more opportunity, as you say. Meanwhile, the Senate has passed this $250 billion second manufacturing bill aimed at countering China. The bipartisan vote 68 to 32. Yeah, it's still possible. The legislation called the U.S. Innovation and Competition Act includes funding for domestic semiconductor manufacturing.
Not everyone
and securing
agrees.
supply chain.
Sometimes Eunice Yu, I think, by the way, has been up for about 49 hours straight, right? Because it doesn't matter. But Eunice had a report this morning on why exchange, where she said that the Chinese are furious about this. They just cannot believe that we're trying to be competitive. And what? What's the matter? They can't.
Your
They think-
phrasing was interesting.
Well, they
Made
think
me laugh.
it's. Listen to her. I mean, now of course they're
dare
blacking
they?
us out right now when we do this, but they.
All right, so now we got that. We could pipe that in. Clover up 24%. 20 minutes to go to the opening bell.
Remember, Commerce just used to issue.
Gotta take the fucking trash dog to the fucking vet, to the animal hospital, which is, by the way, you're a real. And I'm just like, at least nobody's gonna be at the animal hospital. Maybe the vet's closed, but dude, the animal hospital, the line was longer than fucking goddamn In-N-Out. It was longer than fucking, what was the Christ Chicken? What's that place called? The Christ Chicken place? The place where they don't believe in gays? What the fuck is it? Chick-fil-A? Those fucking
Jesus, Chris.
so scared of cocks and butts.
Snafus at Boeing are just terrible, and when you listen to it, you don't feel very proud. And Boeing is a great American company that has really stumbled.
Hello.
That's what the guest said, and I have to tell you, I look, my charitable trust owns it, but when you listen. And, you know, Phil's, of course, is the best. I'm just getting some
The
things.
fuck?
It's Udar Hazy, and he's been on Mad Money. He pulls no punches, and basically he's just saying that we can't make them like we used to.
What's
And
the
it was
story on this?
I mean, my father always told me about when you always zeros, or always.
Wall Street Bets has picked up on Geo. All right, Cam. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good day. Good day. So you're buying, yeah, that's a good one. Buy the shares. I like that, Joey. Cheap. Sap, you hear that? Cheap shares on this Geo, next stock to move. $8.24 in the pre-market. And so, Joe, what's the deal on this? We're looking at a year-to-date horrible chart. This is going to be the new meme. You could use your imagination and even say that it's it's definitely going to break out today, right? So it'll even have a technical. Oh, that's nice. All right, Sap, there's the play. If you were so inclined, I don't know if you get into this sort of thing or not, but Geo 40% short. Looks like the next meme, one of the next meme stocks to make a move. Chart is on your left. Pre-market trading at $8.15. Yesterday's close, $6.32. Looks like the bid's at $8.15. This would be one of those stocks to buy the shares. Don't make the mistake that I make. In getting the options, you got to buy the shares of these companies so that when they run up, you own the shares. And one day I'll learn how to do covered calls. I'll buy some of those. Would you buy, Joe? 1,000 shares? 1,000 shares. Joey's in. 820. Nice. Just for the day, huh? Now let me ask you this, Joey. How do you determine whether or not you're going to play for the day or play for a squeeze? I get it, right? For fun, yeah, something to watch, right? So in other words, your price that you're going to use to buy in is probably going to be a little bit elevated because it's only for a day trade. And then, all right, so I'm going to play for the week, see if they cover the shorts. Okay. Now here's a very personal trading question that I'm going to ask you. In your mind, is this 100% of your position for Geo? Is this 100% of you determined a number in your mind, you went with 1,000 shares. Was that value a 100% play for the day? No intention of adding anything else to the stock? Just a day play. Give it a rip. Okay. So 400 shares previous. So you'll go into it with a full position, basically a full trade position for the day, 1,400. You're not going to maneuver around your opening position. Clover coming down a little bit. 27.23 with 13 minutes left to the bell. Yep, day play for the hype. I get you. I might try to. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this today is to distract myself from anything else except watching Clover. I did not want to make any plays, but maybe I will. I like this Geo. Yeah, but I mean, it's already up in the pre-market, right? So, I don't know. I'd do a very, very, very small position for fun.
If that's the subject of the investigation, is
They
how
don't
he
seem
got
to,
it.
even, was it hacked somehow? The IRS hacked and then it provided to them, or was it a leak from the IRS directly? There are significant penalties if somebody there is actually doing that.
I
And
think
there's going to be
America's-
more reporting to come. They got an enormous amount of data, and so there's going to be more
Well,
stories.
shouldn't there be outrage? I mean, I think there's a lot of people who don't make a lot of money in this country.
Listen, we've been sitting at this desk discussing the tax system for years amongst ourselves. Jim Stewart has always joined us because he's been a real student of that, one of your friends. And,
James B.
And what,
It's kind of funny that the ticker on CNBC is Wendy's, Geo, Plug Power, CLOV. Former employer sued Lordstown. You know, what's unfortunate about Lordstown, what little I know about it, is that was a former GM facility. So it's like more bad news, you know? If that place shuts down, it's bad for the that little town, Lordstown. Surprised Blurg's not here yet. Workhorse ride in Elms. I actually have I have a Workhorse Leap. I actually have a Workhorse Leap. Kicking ass, man. Not really. I know. I don't know. Somebody talk me into it. It was down, but now it's like actually making money every day. $22. It's a 60. So anyhow, I could never, I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that people would actually tune in to watch a chart, right? Because if they tune in to watch a chart, then I wouldn't have my image on the video. Now, if I were among friends, you, Sap, Cammy, and Blurg, or anybody else who would talk stocks and would care to stop in and keep me company, that would be a value to me in and of itself, right? Even if it was just you and I talking, shooting the shit. And, I don't know if you want to describe what you do in the morning and what you would normally be doing at this time. But this is what I do at this time. I would be watching, I like Josh on the stock fraternity. He's entertaining. And CNBC ticker is always on. And then I just sit down and watch a chart. And right now I am standing at my desk, and I still get really excited when the market opens, and there's you get to see whether your ideas can actually happen and come to fruition. I like to say I'm not motivated by money, but that is obviously the measure of the success of a trade. But I don't really trade, just invest. So it's nice to see things perform and behave. So I think in a bigger picture, a macro sense, I like the idea of seeing a thesis pan out. Like, for example, right now, inflation just seems to be on the back burner, and I've really subscribed to fake news is everywhere. Like, everything is absolutely fake, and it makes sense to me. It's not a big conspiracy thing that all the news would be trying to appeal to get eyes and thus have advertising revenue. I understand that, and I wouldn't even hold it against them. But when you can capitalize, let's say, on the opposite point of view, to me, that is probably the best part of trading. And right now, the best part about trading for me is I will take a position that inflation is a boogeyman. And now, of course, CPI could come out and we will see inflation indicators, but no one can predict. No one, not the expert among experts, can predict whether or not inflation will be here transitory or for the long term. Yet I know those words. And to me, that's absurd. That means that all I'm doing is watching the news, and I know about the acceleration of the 10-year. I know about the 10-year, which is important. Everyone should know about the 10-year, and I learned a lot this year. So you learn about the 10-year and its relationship to the performance of companies that are not yet profitable. Inflation obviously affecting the forward future value of the dollar, thus the profitability. If you're paying up front a multiple for a company's future earnings, that is jeopardized by inflation. Get that. So I learned a whole bunch of that. But I cannot believe with the 10-year at 1.5 or whatever it is, it's no longer a canary in the coal mine, and it's no longer showing any relationship to the hypergrowth stocks, and it's also historically at a low level. So I have to call bullshit on CNBC, and that's my theory. So with CNBC being bullshit and inflation and acceleration of inflation being bullshit, and I think as we talked about earlier, the Cathie Wood thing, I think that is a witch hunt. I think that it's exacerbated by people that were trying to shadow her trades that right now could be, and this is the way to make money. Right now could be the opportunity to get into these hyper growth stocks again, the good ones, because you can still be a stock picker and not have too much to worry about with some hyper growth stocks. Like, I don't know, CRISPR just got an upgrade this week, which brought my attention back to CRISPR. I mean, ARCG's been getting a lot of attention. I see that posted everywhere. ARCG is something that I would buy. I don't have any ability to get a position in ARCG. And I don't know that I want to be in an ARC fund right now, but I think you asked up there about my workhorse. They're January 22nd, 60s, which I just took that was the only one that was available. I just wanted to learn about how it works, so I picked the one with the highest price out into January, basically.
Very, very hard to figure out what's going on. People are going to be looking at Rocket, UW.
So about 2 minutes to the opening bell. Clover.
They're not meats. They're not meat. They are actual. Their earnings go up, and their earnings go up because there's going to be more refinancing, but there's going to be more homes bought. There was a great presentation last week.
Currently at 26%.
The housing shortage continues.
We got
Now the rates
1
come back down
minute
again.
to the open.
I happen to, that Rocket's good.
It had that very significant fall, though.
Well,
Rocket.
they had some problems with the warehouse loans. Not problems, not credit. Just didn't make as much money. But
Yeah, it was less than people anticipated.
right, but
Would.
they have a shot again, and I happen to like Rocket very much. I had UWM on. I have both on. They need this. This move in the 10-year is just extraordinary.
Here we go, 10-year.
Given the fact that Chipotle really put through a very significant
What's the 10-year doing
wage
now?
increase. I think that Jay
Chipotle
Powell,
price
just to be sure, the
increases.
Fed chief, wants the wage increase at a certain level. He actually believes, and David, you can dispute me on this because you disputed me on my billionaire surtax. But there are a lot of people who don't make a lot of money in this country, and if they're able to make just a little bit more while they work at Chipotle, isn't that fine?
Yes, that's great. I'm in favor of that. Who wouldn't be?
Well, I think
By the way, there are an
people
awful
who
lot
own
of
the
jobs
shares.
available right now, interestingly. I mean, if you're a teenager looking for work,
Oh my, to be a teenager.
You want to eat a
I'll have
bagel.
some more
won't
reasons
wake up till
than
3 o'clock.
And we're open. I should have a bell sound. Clover ripping out of the gate. Up 29%. Winner. I would love to see Clover hold up here. Just establish a level. What more could you hope for?
Boy, and they made me wash dishes, and my father came back and he fired me. You're not a dishwasher, Jimmy. You're a busboy.
Dude, I used to eat bagels like every day. Like 3.5 years ago. I'll pull that one up.
At the big board, it is the Trevor Project celebrating Pride Month, and at the NASDAQ, it's payment processing company Marqeta celebrating its IPO. Man, IPOs, Jim, are keeping us busy, whether it's Marqeta. Reports now that Robinhood's probably looking at more like a July issue.
Marqeta was terrific this morning. Just absolutely fantastic. I support the Trevor Fund, Team Depression Help. My daughter's been involved in that too. I think it's just a great charity. You always should mention the charities when you know that they're good, particularly for this month for Gay Pride. A lot of these IPOs.
Clover
were
coming off the
interesting.
ties.
I was spellbound at how interesting this Marqeta was. I mean, it's really again in fintech. It's the, David, when we start seeing this buy now pay later phenomena is another phenomenon as a teenager you would have liked.
Yes.
You mean the Affirm sort of economy?
I had a firm one. I think it's fantastic. Not everybody has enough money to buy everything. And by the way, when you have to start paying your student loan again, you're going to be needing this buy now, pay later.
Yeah.
How many
Adam up
Jesus,
5%.
Clover.
I know. Taking a look at Clover, of course, which is, I mean, the volume in these names is also unbelievable.
It's amazing.
You know,
But-
Clover, even before the open, I mean, that Wish had traded 28 million. Clover's already traded 40
But Carl pointed
million
out,
shares. Its 30-day average is 46 million, so it's basically already traded its average full daily volume.
but there's not a lot happening, and these people are having the time of their lives.
All right.
That's what Mullah said yesterday. See that headline? 70 to 80% of meme investors are just having fun, said Ken.
There's nothing.
Did
matter
Ken
with that.
actually say that? Or yeah.
I mean, this is what the wires.
They just
Yeah.
want to have fun.
Ken. Yeah. All right. Why not? Everybody should have fun.
It's a
By the
Cindy
way, listen,
Lauper market.
I do know the cohort to a certain extent. I know
Cindy
college
Lauper.
freshmen, sophomores, they're out there on their phones. They're doing this stuff. They're buying these things, selling it. Also crypto. It's fun.
Well, I just think if
guess.
you educate them a little
But
more,
at
they'll
some point,
actually be able to.
the fun will stop because they will lose money.
I called for education this morning, and my tease was going, and that was resoundingly rejected, saying that I am so obviously old, calling for education.
Let's go old school, back to Merck if we can, because we haven't actually gotten to it this morning yet.
So Wendy's down 3.5%. Workhorse up 8%. Told you, baby. Workhorse. Welcome back, Cammy. So you think people would like come hang out? Yeah, Geo running 840. Let's get some Geo, huh? I'll buy some Geo. How much do we want to buy?
$7 million courses up Molnupiravir.
So my question was, would people actually come and hang out and watch me live stream me sitting at a desk doing nothing? What happened to Clover? Fall down, go boom. That's not good. Let's take a look at some more headlines. Clover, nice pullback. Geo pulling back to 813. Fancy online payroll. So if I were to do this regularly, you'd just come hang out while I do my online payroll. I'm going to do my online payroll here for my employees. I can give you headlines, though. I can give you headlines that you don't get anywhere else. Coinbase downtime. Russian foreign ministry official says there are only a few unresolved issues left in talks for an Iran nuclear deal. GM plans to launch 30 EVs globally at the end of 2025. 30 EVs globally by the end of 2025. 30. GM, price target. Sean, price target, 85. Google to launch subsea cable from US to Argentina. I got people on payroll, Sap. I got people on payroll. Damn it. By the way, healthcare is going to start moving. how exciting. We have a new Alzheimer's drug, first time in 20 years. Alzheimer's drug, brand new to market, which allegedly is going to be out in less than 10 days. Geo not moving rapidly right now. I'll keep an eye on it, though. By the way, that you hear that residual sound, it's actually my laptop fan. I need to get a broadcast computer. That'd be pretty cool. If Clover gets to 40, I will. If Clover gets to 40, I will buy a broadcast rig and I'll do this every morning. How's that? You heard it here first. I will become a proper YouTuber every day if Clover hits 40. I'll be able to finance my computer, free up some time. Clover 40. That's the goal. You want to know something? I think if Clover came down under 20, I'd probably buy some shares. I think I would buy Clover. I would buy some Clover shares under $20 for sure. Because I'm learning that the secret is you got to have the shares. Just hold the shares forever. Like, I want to get some GameStop shares. Legit. Let's see. What are the markets? DraftKings. Here we go.
I'm just looking at Caesars now. I mean, year to date up 49. Goldman's got a chart out today about gambling and gaming revenue almost back to pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And that's without international and it's without corporate.
Look, I think it's also a lot of fun. I mean, you know, we used to, for my program, for Bull Market Fantasy, we'll derive questions, you know, kind of like that, you know, who's going to have the most touchdowns this week. But if you look at the DraftKings come-ons, it'll often be like, listen, if Aaron Rodgers, you know, starts for an NFL team this year, because obviously he didn't show up to Packer camp.
What don't you hear? You talking about the fan, Cammy? It's probably because I have my my headphones turned up real loud. That's probably why. Is it appropriate to put another YouTube's voice on? Holy shit, we're rolling. How about Tiger stock? It's just made up all its gains. All of its gains from the dilution, I think. So if you have, that's probably going to be one of the downsides of having a trading view up. It's lagged for me about 10 seconds because now it's ripping. Geo up to 860 now, according to TradingView, which is going to be further lagged due to YouTube, getting to you. I'm going to pull that up here. Geo up 34%. 856. Say, how about biotechs like Moderna? That's what I started talking about. I got you, Cammie. So Moderna and all of the other biogen biotech companies benefiting from COVID causing a faster, rapid development and implementation phase with new molecules. We're in a golden age, folks. If you don't believe it, believe it. No matter what you think about COVID, no matter what you believe about its origin and its lethality, it literally fast-forwarded innovation by a decade. And guess what? Vuzix is hovering along the trend line. I am very bearish on Vuzix right now. If it breaks this trend line, it's just not good at all. When would the squeeze happen on Clover? Because the amount of money that's going into the shorting end of it seems to be going up pretty significantly. See that trend line? If we break that, it's bad news. Right now we're on it. Here's Rick Santelli.
An economy that's hot. Definitely there's some supply issues. Inflation is the common theme. Every country's printing to the tune of, are there enough trees in the forest? And yields globally are going down. Does that sound like we have confidence to be able to count on price discovery to reflect the true risk reward of the interest rate complex? Because I think therein lies the issue. Look at a 24-hour chart of 10-year. 140s now. And if you open the chart up month to date, this is the 7th session of June. Right smack in the middle, you see where all the drops started, where yields started to move down? 8:30 Eastern on Friday, Jobs Friday. Jobs Friday really underscored so many different dynamics that we are reopening on a hot scale, and many countries are ultimately going to be there with us. But the issue is that as we are opening up, not only do we see that we have, in a way, created policies that are inhibiting a better opening. We can't seem to find the people that are unemployed to take the jobs that are being offered. You can put forth any reason you want, but there are lots of little glitches along the way. And should 10 years close at current levels, be the lowest yield close since, well, the back end of February, as you see on this chart. Now, if I think about inflation, the equity markets just seem to be a natural place, especially now that the complex of the treasuries just doesn't seem to reflect that concern. Let's look at a chart pre-COVID, September 2019, of crude oil and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Boy, they certainly seem to rhyme a bit, don't they? And finally, today, we saw the release of Producer Price Index and CPI in China year over year. The PPI in China, hottest since July of 2008. Carl Jim David, back to you.
All right, Rick. Very big step. Yep. Let's
Yeah. So so much for inflation and the 10-year. Come on, Vuzix. Get above 19 and stay above 19. Geo getting a 9. Here we go. Come on, Geo. Here it comes. Here it comes. Yeah, Cammy, what's for breakfast? Now, Joey, if you're talking about the short squeeze on Clover, what do you mean it's going to crash through after the squeeze? You mean crash down after the squeeze? I like how Clover's forming a little base here to get more. Give me more faith that people are. So Clover will crash down. Of course, the fundamentals aren't there. It's the very definition of a meme stock. Yeah. There you go. Geo over 9. Very nice. Nice pop. So it's broken over that peak. Let's pull that chart up. The peak going all the way back to the beginning of the year. Not that this would follow any fundamentals whatsoever or TA now. You know, it's a glitch on this. This is on Power E-Trade. It literally will not let you get rid of this. It's so stupid. I don't see Geo having a problem hitting 11. Why would it? Yeah, eat some bacon. Okay, I'll start an OnlyFans. So Vuzix is in some trouble. It's just a horrible chart. Oh boy. I'll have to make a phone call to my mom while you're blow drying your hair. Hello? 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 Who is this on the phone? Why are you calling my wife? Dad, it's me. Who? Me. Who is this? It's your son, Sean. Oh, what are you doing? We're trying to call your mother's trying to call the bank. There's no dial tone. I called you. You picked up the phone. It rang. What? I just picked up the phone. I'm trying to dial the bank. Dad, hang up the phone. Do you know what the cost of beef is? I know, Dad. Hang up the phone. Did you tell him the cost of beef? We went to the store. It was $6.99 a pound. That's the inflation. There's inflation everywhere. Tried to buy the tomatoes at the store. Does it really not have a change on here? Unreal. Well, Clover taking a nice breather. Meanwhile, Vuzix trying desperately to claw back. It's the Kathy curse. It's the Kathy curse. So what happened to inflation? Just went away? We'll get you 11. You got it. Let it consolidate there a little bit. Oh my goodness. Vuzix. Got to get there. What's PCE an indicator? What's PCE? Salsa? Workhorse up 8%. It's all falling apart with Vuzix. It's all falling apart. Unreal. It's the personal consumption index? Yes, the personal consumption index. We're watching that Thursday. I think she means the consumer price index. All right, Clover. This is starting to lose all momentum. When in doubt, zoom out. Oh my goodness. You know what sucks is in order to use my microphone, I can't have my mouse. So I have to use my laptop mouse, which sucks. Personal consumption index. Okay. When does that come out? See this breakdown right here? Very bad. Very bad. And it's going to roll over. Not good. Yeah? More Santelli.
And it follows sequentially 4.6. So we could really see it tapered off for a variety of reasons, not the least of which is some of those supply chain glitches and certain parts of the manufacturing world, of course, that have eased back a bit while the service sector kicks in fourth gear. Morgan, back to you.
The whole picture for wholesale sales. Rick Santelli, thank you. We are 30 minutes into the trading session. Here are the three big movers we are watching right now. We're going to start with Campbell Soup. That's down big following an earnings miss, with revenue also coming in below forecasts as results lagged those year-ago figures that were boosted by pandemic-related demand. As you can see right there, the shares are down 6%. Plus, Fox getting an upgrade to buy from hold at Wells Fargo, with the firm saying that that stock could benefit from Fox's presence in sports gambling despite pressures from cord cutting. You can see those shares are up about 3.5% right now. And we will end on what else? Something we talk about so often. Bitcoin bouncing back as the crypto's volatility continues. This as El Salvador becomes the first country to adopt.
All right. Bitcoin it is.
Has more than 10 million members. One thing that tends to attract these so-called YOLO, or you only live once traders, is heavy short interest. When they see a large amount of investors betting against a company, they often try to gang up and prove them wrong and make some money in the process by piling into the other side of that trade. Reddit traders know this tactic well after GameStop in January, and this week are encouraging each other to take advantage of the short interest in Clover. About 44% of Clover's shares are sold short. That's according to data from
All right, Joey, Seppi, Cammy, if you're around, enjoy the rest of your day. I am going to stop streaming and maybe see you tomorrow if there's anything newsworthy and if Clover does anything. It would be hilarious if I even had the ability to play my theme, my podcast theme. I don't think I have the ability to play it, but I'll find out right now. Yeah. Actually, I got something for Joey. Maybe. And if Joey's not listening, his loss. Yeah, don't have that. Yeah, I don't have the ability to play it. But I do have this.
Still, of course, I have.
Maybe not. Anyhow, I'll work on that for another time. Take care, guys. See you after a while.